What's up, everyone? Welcome to the ShockCast, episode 12. My name's Luke Taldi. Joining us tonight, we've got Giuseppe Nelva and
Hello, everyone.
Ryan, the beautiful, the one and only Ryan Meitzler. I don't actually know if that's true. Are you the only Ryan Meitzler?
No, there's definitely other ones. I think there's one that's like a doctor somewhere I've gotten confused for, but I don't know. It's like
So I shouldn't let you have looked at my body naked. It wasn't medically kosher.
Let's move
all
on,
right,
please.
good night everyone. I'm leaving. Bye. It was like it was
All
fun.
right. So anyway, welcome to the ShockCast. Today we're talking digital versus physical media, mostly games, of course. And yeah, how we feel about it. How we feel about it, where we think it's going, what are the benefits, what are the downsides. So before we get started in that, we're going to go into a little bit of logistical things. First off, if you're listening to this on podcast, you're listening to it the wrong way. You should be watching us. We go live on Twitch every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Come, be part of the community, chat with us. We read all of your comments, no matter how much we may disagree with them on the podcast. Also, just some house cleaning rule stuff and all that. There might be a little bit of interruption with staff, and by that I mean I'm not going to be here next week, maybe the week after, also maybe the week after that, only because I got a job besides Dual Shocker, so I got to do a little bit of moving, and also have to take the bar exam, so you may not see my beautiful face.
He's going to fail the bear exam.
I'm going to fail the bar exam. Yeah, I've already got it drilled into my head, so I won't get disappointed. That said, you're going to be seeing a lot of Giuseppe. Ryan, I believe, is going to be the interim host, and maybe we'll get another member of the staff on the podcast too. We'll see. They'll see how that works out. They're going to be in charge of it. They may not give it back. All right, so let's go into it. What have you guys been playing? Ryan, what have you been doing lately?
Let's see. I've been playing. Well, it was a good thing having the
Ryan is dying.
Ryan's dying. All right, so Giuseppe, what have you been doing?
Ryan is
weekend
dead.
last weekend. I got a lot of games done off my backlog. Just quickly, I finished. What's that? What? Am I? Hello? Oh, am I back? Sorry. Hello.
You're kind of
Hello?
lag.
Can you hear me? I'm lagging.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
You're back, but lagging a bit. All right, so what were you playing?
Are you here
Oh,
now?
okay.
Are you
I
active?
hope so. I hope
Yeah,
so.
you seem
Am
to
I?
be active. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so I was saying 4th of July long weekend was really nice. I got to finish Final Fantasy X HD, so I got to finish that. I finished The Witcher 2. I started Witcher 3, so now I'm going to be playing that for like 4 months.
Bravo.
I thought
and
you
then-
weren't available to write because you had some engagement with the family or something.
Eh,
Well, 4th of July, yeah. The weekend, that was fine. So,
I mean, at some
and
point,
then,
at some point, The Witcher is your family.
yeah, basically, yeah. And then I also have been playing Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens for review, which will be going up very soon.
Awesome.
Okay.
How about you, Giuseppe?
Well, yesterday I actually got a stray review copy for Sony Komi, which is a interesting game. Which actually a surprisingly good game.
Interesting.
So I'm going to write a review soon.
What is it about?
Basically,
I've never heard of
Sonic
it.
It's a Super Sonic game. Basically, have you ever seen that Japanese mascot girl with like super big boobs and
I
pink
feel like
hair?
there's a lot of those that is like
No,
Yeah.
but this one is peculiar because she always has these headphones on her head.
All right, so we've narrowed it down, but
not-
I'm still not
not-
But
entirely sure.
basically, in this game, you're a photographer and you have to take pictures of this girl. It
Mhm.
actually has a pretty deep, like kind of rhythm-like mini game within it. It's kind of funny. I still have to play more of it, but it's more promising than what I expected gameplay-wise. Visuals are nice, definitely. So it's definitely a fan service game, but it has the depth that maybe that our live Extreme 3 lacked. For
Right.
now, for my preliminary idea, the story is nice. We'll have to see. I have to delve deeper into it, and then I'll let you know. And then I've been playing quite a bit of Black Desert Online. Someone is sending me messages. Who's sending me messages?
I assume it's Ryan.
Oh, that was
It's
yeah.
Ryan. Ryan is lagged. Ryan, do something to your line.
All right.
Hello,
Uh,
hello.
um, I've been playing quite a few things, like a little bit of Black Desert Online. Well, a lot of Black Desert Online. Then, let's see, quite a bit of Witcher 3 still.
Still,
Um,
Blood and Wine,
trying
right?
to finish. Yeah, Blood and Wine, because it's pretty bad. It's big. I mean, you wouldn't expect it. It's an expansion, and you say, yeah, it's gonna be 4 or 5 hours of gameplay. Yeah, fuck it. No, it's a ton of gameplay. It's basically a game in itself, which is
Yeah,
basically they are giving you a full game on top of the game for the price of a DLC, which is great.
yeah. I
Right.
But
remember
I've been
they said it
finishing
was going to
so
be like 30 hours, right, around there, like
yeah,
to finish it.
it's
That's
taking
like
me even longer than that.
that's a full
It,
game by itself. It's ridiculous. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's great. That CD Projekt really know how to treat their customers. That's for sure.
yeah.
And that's it.
Okay, I'm going to throw a little curveball in here with the games that I've been playing. And for the most part, I haven't been playing a ton of games. I've been doing a lot of studying. So generally, I'll go in for like a 15-minute shallow experience. I'll go play a little bit of Rocket League, a little bit of Destiny, because you don't
Hmm.
have to really concentrate to play Destiny. I could do that, in fact, while listening to lectures. But the thing that I added new this week is Watch Dogs, the original game.
Oh,
Yeah, I've
that's not a game you can play in 15 minutes, though.
no, it's not. So it's like if I'm super restless at night and I just need something to help me sleep, sometimes something tire my eyes out, I go and play it. Um, don't know what to think about it yet. I've only played a few hours in, so I can't make summary judgments on it. I could see where the criticisms of it are coming in, and there's really a lot to do in the game. Like I am distracted from the main mission all the time because I'm too busy fighting AR aliens and
Welcome
stuff.
to open war games.
Yeah, but this one in particular, I don't know. I'm still trying to form opinions on it, but it hasn't been awful so far.
I didn't expect it to be awful. It's not an awful game. I mean, you know how the internet is. Things
Right,
either are incredibly good or they suck.
right.
So
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of went in with very low expectations. I bought the game for maybe $8 or something on a Sony sale. So I'm happy with my purchase so far.
good.
All right, so let's
Shall
get
we move to the
into
main topic?
yes, let's get into the meat of the matter. So the main topic, as we discussed, is digital versus physical. Everyone, at least since the last generation, have been talking about the digital revolution, how we are going to slowly be phasing out physical. So let's just throw down the gauntlet to begin with. Is that possible? Is that going to happen? Are we going to ditch physical completely?
Well, physical, completely digital is impossible for now, because simply because of the internet speeds.
Mm-hmm.
Like there
Like
is.
yours.
Well, actually, I'm in a pretty decent position compared to others
Mm-hmm.
because my download is not terrible. I have a 20 megabits ADSL, so I download as one megabyte per second more or less when I'm lucky. So that's not super terrible, but the advantage I have is that here in Italy there is no internet caps.
Right.
So I can download like 60 gigabytes without any problem in one day without any problems. The only problem is how long I'm gonna take to download it. But the problem is that uh, the problem is not just speed. So the problem is also that there is people that have caps.
Yeah.
If you have 30 gigabyte a month, and I don't know what the common cap is in the US. I heard people have 30. I heard people have 100. I have people that have something like that. But there is a lot of people that are capped still in the US, in the UK, in a lot of even major countries. So, and those people are not going to download a 50 gigabytes game for
Right.
like as a regular occasion. So until as long as internet is capped, and as long as there are many nations in which the internet is low combined, I don't think it's possible for companies to safely go full digital. Of course, a lot of companies do only digital for a simple reason that they have niche games that wouldn't be worth releasing physical. But companies that want to keep a foothold in those households that don't really have a good internet connection or they have caps or stuff like that, they need to still go physical.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm in a unique position to speak about this more now so than ever, because part of the move that I talked about earlier, I'm moving from New York to Nashville. By New York, New Jersey, there's no caps for the most part. We're living in mostly metropolitan areas, and even though Nashville is pretty metropolitan for Tennessee, there up until last month there was a 300 gigabyte gap.
Yes, sorry.
Cap, and then now there's a terabyte gap cap, which is not too bad. A month, yeah.
I do a terabyte in like 5 days.
Yeah, that's not awful. Also, I mean, we're coming up to the point, I think, in Nashville where Google Fiber's coming in, which is no cap at all, super fast speeds. But the point I'm getting here is I think you're completely right. It all matters about infrastructure. There's going to be major backlash if people are going all digital, or if developers are going all digital, because I'm already planning on, most of my library is digital. I'm already planning on bulking up on a hard drive and just having that ready with all my games so I don't have to download it when I get to Tennessee.
Yeah.
So yeah. What do you think, Ryan?
What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I think I'm in. For a while I was big on the physical train. Like pretty much all of last generation, I pretty much almost exclusively bought physical, except for like digital only games and stuff like that. Now I think I'm going a bit more toward. I'd say if I had to put it in a percentage, it would be like 70% digital and 30% physical. So physical I mostly get for just games that I'm really looking forward to, like Uncharted or Bloodborne or stuff like that. I think mostly just for I guess like Lou said, just I think it's a lot easier to have digital stuff on a hard drive rather than 60 boxes of games all over the place. I just don't have the room to keep a bunch of those games. But I think for other benefits too, like obviously you get things like Steam sales, like we just had this last 2 weeks, where it's just so easy to be able to get games really cheap, which is obviously like probably one of the biggest benefits of going digital.
Well, if you look at that though, physical has the same benefit in another way. You can get pre-owned stuff at GameStop.
That's true too, yeah. But I think it's also just the convenience of digital, the fact that you can get it instantly for $5.
Both have their own advantages, right?
Yeah, sure.
Or
of course.
price wise, I think price is pretty even because one gets like you still get sales in physical, like brick and mortar still get sales once in a while.
Yeah.
But like Black Friday or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also have the pre-owned factor that pretty much I think kind of balances out Steam sales and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I asked the comments really quickly because we just mentioned what we've been doing. Graxaplon says, I've been all digital this gen. Preloading is important to me. Meanwhile, Dalo says, I buy physical to cut down on bandwidth since all games have patches anyway. That's definitely true.
Yeah, definitely. And moreover, there is one other thing. Definitely publishers now want us to go digital because it costs them less. Mm-hmm. And they are willing to kind of give back for that. Some more than others. I don't think anyone is really going to part with the monetary benefit of us buying digital. Like I don't think digital is ever going to make games be cheaper.
Well, The Witcher, wasn't it?
No, not really. The Witcher was costed like a normal game.
I thought it was 10% cheaper or something digital. But
I think that was just if you pre-ordered it before it came out. Yeah.
But still, that's very small, 10%.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's definitely not what publishers save by going digital. But the thing is that they still give us advantages. Like if you look at Microsoft now with the Play Anywhere, if you get it digital, you can get a Xbox One and PC copy of the same game for one for the price of one. That's a pretty sizable advantage of going digital.
Right.
They could do it with physical as well. Of course, it's not in their interest, so they don't. Like they could simply put if you look at DVDs or Blu-rays, like I think Sony has it and others, like they also give you a digital copy with the
Yeah.
Blu-ray.
That's pretty much with most nowadays. Now it's usually you get like a Blu-ray, a DVD, and a digital
A
copy
record or
of the-
something
so,
too.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
at I'm looking at the Italian market, which is still smaller. So I don't know in the US how it happens,
Yeah.
but they could do it for games as well. But
Mhm.
of course they don't because it's not convenient for them. So even if it's not an advantage that is like naturally associated with digital, it's something that like companies associated with digital. So we feel like practically it's an advantage of digital.
Right. Small interjection here for everyone watching live right now and interested. Pokemon Go is officially on the US iOS App Store. So
Oh,
go ahead and download that if you want to try it out. All right, so let's keep going.
it's Pokemon.
All right. So what are the situations where you prefer to buy physical over digital? It sounds like there's not a huge difference right now, but are there clear differences about when you prefer physical and when you prefer digital?
I will be honest here. I don't have a preference. I mean, I will play a game anywhere I can play it.
Right.
Honestly, I don't think there is a situation in which I prefer one of the over the other. It's mostly, do I have time to go out and grab it? Do I want to? I mean, do I want to just download it on the fly? Is there a preload or even just at times I'm forced to have the game physical because they just send like Sony sends us like their infamous review copies that are like this, that don't even have the fancy case. They're just a diamond case that looks like crap.
Right.
I have a mountain of this. So these are only physical, and it's not a purchase, but they're still there, and they're like pile up. But yeah, normally for me there is absolutely no difference. Also, like if a company can give me a game, like Japanese games are a big example. Most Japanese games are not convenient. Like if the publisher had only the physical option, they wouldn't have even bring them to the US and to Europe. So if it's a chance to get a game that I normally wouldn't get, absolutely bring it digital. I'm gonna thank you too. I have absolutely no problem getting digital games. I mean, I'm a PC gamer first and foremost.
Right.
So right now PC is physical purchases on PC are absolutely dead. Most physical games on PC at the moment, they just have a Steam code inside.
Yeah.
Like they give you the box and everything,
Yeah.
but they have a Steam code inside and still need to download it. Which is ridiculous, but that's how it is.
How about-
So yeah, for me, I've never been a collector's edition guy. If I want like little statues, art books, and whatnot, I just buy them separate.
Go to eBay or something.
No. I don't buy those statues inside the collector's edition.
Right.
Like I want a statue of a game, I just buy a statue of that game from a dedicated manufacturer that does statues that are better than the one you find in collector's edition in a way.
All right. How about you, Ryan? What's the differentials for you when you want to go collector physical over digital?
See, I think that's the thing is like I think I'm the same where I don't really have much of a preference. Obviously, it kind of depends on
Is that again?
Dead again.
like with
Is that
our
the-
situation working in games, writing and press and all that. Where dead again? Am I? am I coming in? Hello?
You're coming
Better?
in.
Now
No?
it's better.
Hello? Oh,
Like
okay.
you
Oh,
have a
sorry.
bit of lag, and then you.
Yeah,
you...
it's been breaking up on me a little bit tonight, so sorry for the lag.
Giuseppe, can you
but anyway,
fire him?
No. It's not his fault.
I don't have much of a preference for physical over digital. I think lately I've been favoring digital more just for, like I said before. I think a big part of it too is just that like with us being in games writing and all, sometimes we get digital whether we get digital copies of games for review or physical, which is, depends on who you get them from pretty much.
Yeah,
I know
it's not our
Raxapon
choice.
in the comments, he said usually a good collector's edition might sway me to buy physical, is what he said. I feel like if I did buy collector's editions, that would definitely be the way to go for me. I don't buy them just because most of the time I don't need any of the stuff that's inside of them.
Cheap.
The I mean that too. I like just getting the standard version. The only one that I almost did get was the Fallout Collector's Edition. I did almost purchase, but I resisted. I didn't, dive in and
Right.
get that.
I'm trying to remember what's the last collector's edition I got.
Oh, I know mine right off the
I
top
think
of my head.
Yeah, I know
I
you
think
got the Overwatch one.
you got the Overwatch one. Yeah, the only one I almost got was for The Last of Us, but the GameStop that I got it from messed up my order, so they had to give me the standard edition. So unfortunately, that was the only one I almost bought. But since then, I haven't bought any. But yeah, I think I mostly go
My
for
last
digital. 'Cause
collector's edition is a relic.
What is it?
I can't even see what it is. It's very blurry. Oh wow. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh,
Like,
wait, there it is.
That's like the not the new one. It's the old one. This is 2010.
Right.
but I think as Giuseppe mentioned, like with PC games, that's like obviously PC games is pretty much a digital only marketplace at this point. Like even if you do buy a physical game, it's just a code inside. But I think also that I like the benefit of having with PCs is that with my Steam library, if I get because I do want to eventually build a gaming PC. And knowing that I have a whole library of games I can take with me that'll just work on that platform is what I like about it. Versus with the consoles, where it tends to be not as you don't get everything. Like obviously with Xbox, we're getting some stuff through backwards compatibility, but not everything that I've bought. So I like that my Steam library from machine to machine will pretty much always go with me.
Right.
Until Valve goes bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully not. We cross our fingers. So,
But think about this. I mean, just think about this, okay? Valve, for any reason, I'm not hoping that I'm not hoping that, but think about this. If Valve goes bankrupt,
Mm-hmm.
like that would be a tragedy. Not just because Valve itself goes bankrupt, because they don't make games anymore, so who cares? No, I'm kidding. But they just all our Steam libraries. What would happen with them? That would be a tragedy.
That was my dissertation, actually. That's I could speak to forever on that, but yeah, that's currently a very hotly debated thing in law right now. Do you own any digital property? Even do you own this physical property, which are really bound by EULAs? Most physical property CD, the actual discs themselves, you're not allowed to sell by their end user licensing agreement, like resell it and trade it in to GameStop, but no one enforces it. So yeah, there might
They're not legal as far as I know, right? Like most ULA could be overthrown by a court, as far as I heard.
Exactly. It's called click wrap contracts, and while some are valid, some of them are unconscionable. Some of them contain terms that make no sense. For instance, whenever you go on Steam, it doesn't say click here to license this for a set period of time. It says click here to buy it. So you think that you own it permanently. So yeah, there would good chances be a very good lawsuit on people's hands if Steam or iTunes or Amazon ever went under, and there have been very few cases on it so far, so no one really knows. I'm going to read some comments, though. Dalo says, I generally go for digital if they're a sell, but with Japanese games like Vita games, I'll buy them. I think I would buy more digital games if there was a way to buy DLPSN codes, downloadable PSN codes, so I can buy games for my friends without paying shipping and handling. So yeah, I think those are great points. A lot of people consider whether they want to, it's a risky purchase for some people to buy games. They don't have a disposable income, so a lot of times they want to buy physical because they know they can sell it back. Haven't sold a game back since 2009. I think I keep all my bad, trashy games.
Yeah, the last games I've sold were PS2 games when I wanted to buy my PS3.
Right,
because that's because I bought the PS3 on day one, and it was fucking costly.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was 600 euros, something like that. So yeah, I actually sold games to get it. And I sold one of my PS2s as well, but like to recoup a little bit of that like blood sucking from Sony. Damn Kutaragi.
Right. So I never went into my rationale. Generally, I buy all digital games. I have a fair amount of physical games on my shelf. Some of them were sent to me and that's part of the positions on this site and various other sites. But most of the time I buy digital, mainly because of the deals. I think that this generation, above all others, have had some of the best sales, things that are starting to approach the quality of a Steam sale. For instance, I don't think I've went a week straight without buying something at least on a PlayStation Network sale, be it a $2.99 purchase or a $50 purchase. Um, so yeah, I that's really my main motivating factor. The other one, and I know it's going to be the case, is going to be the data caps, and that's something I'm going to have to be more conscious of now. I think AAA games and collector's editions, things that I know I'm going to love, I'm more inclined to buy physical, just because I like having physical media when it's something I'm proud of or I know I'm going to be happy about. But yeah, I don't. That may seem like an arbitrary distinction, but
It
I'm
is.
sure.
I mean, it's taste in the end. I
Yeah.
mean, that you hit the nail on the head. There is no real distinction between physical and digital. In the end, it's taste, convenience. Whether you want an item related to a game or not, whether you want a little box to have something to show for it, to show on your shelf or not.
Hmm.
It's just a matter of taste, and some developers and publisher will support it. Like there is Nis America and Atlas at times. Actually, Axis they do some they try to do some really fancy collector's edition, even if their games are super niche. Meaning that I don't know how they make money off of it, but they still do it and they support kind of niche, and that's great that they do. I'm absolutely in favor of people having options. I'm not in favor of going digital only because it would remove option from people. Even if I don't you personally use that option, it's great for people to have them.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing is options are important to people. People enjoy going. As much as I hate going out to GameStop, I don't want to be asked whether I want insurance coverage on a disc or something.
Would you like our game protection for €1 and half? If the game scratches or breaks or blah blah blah. I
Yeah.
know one of my best friends is actually a GameStop store manager.
I'm
So
sorry.
I no, he's great. He's a great but but he laughs about it more than I do because the game production is like ridiculous. But the fact is that I one of the things that we kind of lost with digital is just go to the game store and hanging out.
Hmm.
Like I used to spend a lot of time when I was younger going to GameStop or before there was GameStop, other stores, and just hang out with the owner and other people that just went there to buy. Like we had a little bit of a company when we were like a little bit of a group I was younger. Just people that went to GameStop, and after hanging out at GameStop, we went down and watched a movie at the theater or went out having dinner or on Saturday night went out to dance or drink.
Right.
It was a place. It was a social place. Now that social place is Steam or PSN or Xbox Live.
Hmm.
We kind of lost that idea of games being social physically. Like with physical games going kind of out of fashion, we don't go to shops anymore. So shops are less of a physical gathering place. I actually here in Italy we have very rarely, very very rarely like the midnight launches because that's something more in the US.
Yeah.
At very rare times it happens, and when it happens, I actually enjoy looking at them, just going there and see some people and having fun. Unfortunately, I don't have much time anymore, but I really enjoy just going to the game store and hanging out. Even maybe at times you didn't even buy anything, and and since the store manager was my friend, he didn't really care. But it was fun just to be there, meet other people, talk about games. It
Yeah.
was great.
Speaking of other things, I think we're slowly actually we've completely lost, if we're being honest about it, in the shift to all digital, is physical manuals.
Hmm.
Oh my
Well,
god.
those were lost before.
I know,
They lost before the shift to digital.
and it was probably a cost-cutting measure, which I think is unnecessary at this point because costs have never been lower, and that's because of digital. We'll get to that eventually, but I mean, that was my whole reason for the longest time of wanting to buy a game physical, is because I love the manuals. I've always read the manuals from start to finish as a kid, with my Super Nintendo and my Game Boy games, and that's something that's hard to part with. That's probably why I buy collector's editions, because they all come with some sort of art book or manual or something like that. But there is absolutely something lost, be it flippable cover art or steelbook or whatever. That
I always hated steelbooks.
a lot of people hate steelbooks. I know people.
I mean, they don't look with the rest of my library. Come on.
I know people who would actually buy the steelbooks, and then buy the regular one, and then switch the cases and return the steelbook version because they just didn't like.
Didn't like it.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I would say the only game I could really think of recently that I bought physically that did that kind of thing was like The Witcher, because I remember I bought it, and because that came with a map, it came with stickers, it came with the little like note from CD Projekt Red. I remember when I bought it and I held the game, and I was like, oh, this is heavy. It's like way heavier than usual like boxes, because it came with all this like extra stuff that what you don't normally see in other games at this point.
Mm-hmm.
With some pretty great physical edition back in time.
Yeah, that was like that was just in the standard version of the game. Like it wasn't even the collector's edition.
My Warhammer one.
Wow.
This thing's super heavy. Like this is when I actually bought physical edition back in time. It was mostly MMORPGs, which is funny because it's PC stuff. But they actually had some really great collector's edition back in time. Like this one is the Age of Conan one.
Oh wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
they
really
have
nice.
Big boxes with big art books and stuff like that, and I actually like it. But it was another age than when we had different times. Digital wasn't much of an option back then. So now if I want the fancy art books, that's great. I can just buy the fancy art book because normally they are offered separately in some form, even if it's not the same art book. If you want the art, you can get it somehow. Or at times you can now there are digital art books too.
Yeah, there are.
If you look at a lot of the collector's edition on Steam, for instance, like the digital collector's edition, they come with digital art books.
Yeah, I still don't know how I like it. That's like on
the art.
Yeah, that's like on the Nintendo 3DS. They all have manuals, like every game. Digital, and I read through them still for the most part. A lot of them have great hints, but it's not the same thing as actually having a manual.
That's true, but yeah,
I
kind of miss the manual, the old manual from like flight simulators. Those manuals were this thick. But I think you guys weren't even born back then.
Probably not. Oh, we're
like
youngins.
if you look some flight simulators back in time, that I don't know, something like Falcon 3.0, they really had manuals that were like 1 inch thick.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. Even because you couldn't really even start playing without them, honestly.
Right.
Because you didn't even know how to start the plane, and I'm talking literally.
All right, so next question, and this is the main thing. Whenever I hear a reason why people aren't switching to digital, what I hear mostly is it's about cost. When you're buying a game, when you're buying a 2 or 3 month or a year-old game, cost is normally fine digital. In fact, it's normally cheaper across the board. But when you buy a game new, digital games are the same price as physical, which hardly makes any sense if you think about it, because there's so much less costs behind digital games. You don't have, you still have advertising, but you don't need store space. You don't need the materials themselves. So let's talk about that. Giuseppe, I'm sure you could give us some insight into why they're priced the same way.
The price is the same way because it's convenient for the publisher.
Yeah, I'm sure it's them padding their wallets is kind of what you're saying.
Well, it's not padding the wallet; they're recouping the costs for production, because in the end, development is more and more costly nowadays, especially for AAA games. So very simply, they are they are funneling the money they save by selling digital. They are funneling it into, production. They are trying to make money.
Right.
Companies. People think that companies like pad their wallets. Companies don't really pad their wallets. Yeah, they pay dividends and benefits to executive developers, whatnot, definitely. But that's a normal thing. They did it. They do it now, and they did it before when things were physical. Most of the money goes to recoup the costs and invest in future games.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cycle. The money doesn't get put in a in a small bank in the Cayman Island or something like that. Well, some of it is, of course, because companies need to retain liquidity or something like that. But definitely, it's just a matter that the more people see companies as the enemy, and in part, of course, they have to make their own interests, and that's natural. So, but in part, as gamers, we should be happy that companies make more money, because if company makes more money, they can put more money in their next game. They can keep the flow going, and the more money they can put into their projects, the better game we get. Because in the end, money turns into size, at least. Maybe not into quality.
Right.
Well, first it turns into quality of assets, graphics, and stuff like that, which is more like there is more of a 1-to-1 equation there. But it definitely turns into size, into scope, and so the more money the companies make, the bigger game we get, the better game we get, the more game we get, and sometimes the more they are willing to invest into riskier projects, because the big money. I can't say Call of Duty because unfortunately Activision doesn't really do much that's
You could
risky
say
nowadays.
Assassin's Creed.
I could say Assassin's Creed. The big money Assassin's Creed makes goes into making, I don't know, things like
Child of Light, Valiant Heart, Grow Up, Grow Home.
exactly, like
Yeah.
the big projects that are big and safe projects normally finance the risky ones. Then there are the risky ones that becomes runaway successes, and so they pay for themselves. But the money, the initial investment came from the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
So in the end, the more money companies make, of course, honestly, let's hope, like not screwing us out, possibly, but the more a game sells and the more a company makes a margin, like I'm a lot happier to have the margin that uh, the developer makes by selling me a digital game, especially in its own marketplace. Like the money Sony makes by selling me a game on the PSN, or the money Microsoft make by selling me a game on Xbox Live, I'm much happier than it goes to Sony and to Microsoft and by and indirectly to their developers than to GameStop, because
Mm-hmm.
the money otherwise most of it goes to GameStop,
Right.
which is why I don't buy used as well, because I don't want to give money to GameStop.
Oh, that's awful. Yeah, I don't ever recommend buying used. Ryan,
Hmm.
do you have any more to add to that thought about why the prices are the same on day one?
Is that Jim?
I mean, I don't know, like the am I dead again? Sorry. Hello.
No,
Am I back?
That's
you're
good.
good now.
Oh, I'm good. Okay.
Is that again?
All right, no, no, no,
Like,
he's all right. I'm gonna talk.
yeah, it's fine. Go for it.
All right.
Sorry.
So I'm going to take a small caveat approach to that. And I think a major reason why we see, besides what Giuseppe said, that digital and physical games are the same price on day one, is that digital games have, at least in the U.S., been subsidizing physical games for some time. Though it's at least some speculation. Physical game prices haven't went up. They've been completely uh, immune to recession. It's been completely immune to inflation. It's actually very interesting to see that games have stayed $60 for so long, and the budgets have only been rising for them. So a healthy theory for it, and it is still a theory, is just that the digital games themselves are helping keep the physical prices low. They pay for some of those production costs. They pay for getting the store space. So it's kind of a small price that the digital purchasers are paying for now. But
You're talking about getting the store space, but store space doesn't have a cost.
store space has it. To put it in GameStop, they generally need to have like a section. We gotta
Well,
pay.
yeah, but it's GameStop that pays for that.
It pays for the physical space, yes, but I think
No, publisher don't pay GameStop for getting that. Well, maybe they give GameStop some advantages, like
Mhm.
they tell GameStop, oh yeah, we're gonna give you this pre-ordered bonus that's exclusive, you know. But I can definitely tell you, publishers don't pay GameStop for
I think
store shelf space.
I think you could just say the things like, in terms of like manufacturing, so having the
Yeah,
discs made, the
manufacturing.
Shipping,
boxes
stuff
made,
like that.
Yeah.
shipping, stuff like that. Like those kind of costs you have to
No,
pay,
that's definitely
yeah,
a cost. Absolutely.
yeah.
I was a little weirded out by this idea of like paying for There is a payment, but it's normally in benefits. Like why does get this or that pre-order exclusive? That's because GameStop promises Sony or Microsoft or whoever, we're gonna give you like a big centerpiece in our shelves, so you can have bigger visibility. That's why they get the stupid the bonuses that I hate. I absolutely hate store
Oh
specific
yeah,
bonuses.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, but sorry, go ahead. I was just a little weirded out by that notion.
Yeah, no, that's all I was saying. Basically, at the end um, is that I think that the digital games have been keeping the physical games so low. So,
True.
um, so yeah, that's the whole spiel. Ryan, I got a question for you,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully
Hopefully I'm
no
not dead.
issues. If there
Okay.
are issues, just blink and we know that something's wrong.
Okay.
All right, so feasibly GameStop, maybe Amazon can be in trouble when it comes to game sales. It seems like every year digital sales are rising. What do you think is going to happen when that time comes? I mean, GameStop relies its entire business on physical sales. Where do you think they move on from that?
I mean, I think we've already started seeing this a little bit because at least, like, I work near one of the bigger GameStops in New York City, and I've seen there that they've started selling other merchandise. So they sell like those Pop Funko things. Like they're kind of expanding and selling other merchandise that they know that other gamers will like.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I think part of it is that, because we've seen sort of this digital shift in pretty much every other sort of medium where we've seen with, movies and TV, where there are things like, Netflix dominating, most of, kind of overtaking home video. Music, we saw this at least a decade ago when everyone was moving from CDs and physical media to iTunes. So, I do think that, there will be a time and place where eventually games will follow a similar place. Not that I think that physical will completely go away, because I think as long as we have consoles, then we'll still have physical games. Like, I don't think they're going to go away. But I could see that maybe physical games will just be relegated to the big brick and mortar stores, like Walmart or Best Buy or those types of places. And maybe we could see companies like GameStop go under eventually, because obviously GameStop only sells games. Again, that's only time will tell whether that'll happen or not. But I think when you look at things like, actually, I'm seeing Sam Grizzle brought it up, Blockbuster. Like obviously, Blockbuster went under because
Right.
they didn't adapt to the changes of the marketplace itself. Or even music stores are probably a good example too, where it's like now like Sam Goodies and FYE and those types of stores, like you rarely see those anymore because everyone's moving on to digital marketplaces.
Right.
Actually, GameStop, if you listen to their financial conference calls, they are already preparing for it. They've been moving to digital a lot. They actually sell like digital codes, digital games. They now you can buy most big digital games at GameStop.
They
Like
do, yeah. They've
you
they've
can
been
buy you can buy a card with the code, and you have the game. Or they also have their digital storefront online, so that they seem pretty confident from what I heard on their calls, that even if the digital movement would progress to the point in which there is no more physical video game sales, that would be fine.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
I
I
mean,
kind
there's
of believe them, because they're big. That there is a long time to that moment, so they have plenty times to prepare.
Yeah, for a while they've had that where they've had like you could go in, you could buy digital games, or whether you buy like the Xbox Live or the PSN, the store, like the gift cards and stuff like that. So I think there is that, but I think it is just going to be a question of whether whether people will want to go to a GameStop to buy digital code, what they could just get from their home, like online. So
I
that's a
don't know about
question.
that.
So
Right.
That's a valid question.
yeah,
But yeah, probably they're going to just move towards the merchandise more, and selling like electronics and stuff like that. Like they already do. They already have their electronic stuff. They sell tablets, smartphones, and all that.
yeah.
So I think that I don't think they're gonna go under. We can make a bet on this if you want. I'm pretty sure
Yeah, no,
that
I don't know. I mean, it's a fair question. I mean, it could go either way. Because I mean, also the other factor too is that even if they don't necessarily sell as much with software, like they still have to sell the hardware. Like no
Yeah,
matter
they do.
what, that you can't buy hardware digitally. So you know,
well,
Not
you
yet.
can buy it.
well, I mean,
You can still buy it online.
you can order it, but you can order it, but not. I mean, you still have to get a physical thing.
Yeah, I
Soon
know,
you
I
could just 3D print it.
Huh, that would be interesting. Having 3D print. Well, I don't think you can 3D print circuits
Not yet.
and chips.
Um, yeah, so I think that was a great conversation on physical and digital. Of course, there are millions of other questions that we could ask, but maybe we want to go into the 8-bit idiot really quickly.
Yeah. There was something I wanted to talk
Sure.
about before you
Final
do.
thoughts.
I'm trying to remember what it is. And Ryan kind of died.
I'm
It
back.
is the. Huh?
Just his camera died, it looks like. There he
Oh,
is.
Am I?
it's back. Is that Jim? But, what was that? Oh no, I forgot. Let's go on.
Okay, we're going to go on. We do
If it comes back, I'll write an article about it.
Of course. Okay, so we do have another 8-bit idiot this week. And we got a picture for you guys too. For those who are here for the first time, 8-bit idiot is our weekly segment where we highlight kind of a boneheaded thing in the industry. Someone doing something stupid. Of course, everyone has their bad days. Everyone makes their bad judgment calls here or there. And we generally don't hate anyone we're talking about. But this is
I
just
do.
a way. All right, he does. But this is just generally a way for us to poke fun at an industry often full of errors. So this week we've got this one was brought to you by Ryan, I believe. Ryan, can you tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. So this was just something I happened to see on Twitter a couple days ago, and it was a post by Fort Parker, who, if you don't know him, he is the chief financial officer of Devolver Digital, the publisher, who they've done published a lot of games like Hotline Miami. More recently they've done like Enter the Gungeon and things like that. So he posted this very funny tweet where the
Oh, there he goes.
just
He's-
says, "Welp, let's see where this goes, Mr. Fake PC Gamer reviews editor." And basically, what happened was he received an email from a person who was trying to pretend to be the reviews editor of PC Gamer and was trying to get two North American codes to get. So basically, he was trying to scam Devolver Digital out of getting free games by pretending to be in the press when he actually wasn't. And to be fair, he did do a pretty convincing job where he had an email that said @pcgamer.press, which is an unusual email, but okay. Fork responded to him and said, or do you want to bring up the picture first, Lou? Or...
Oh, the picture's already up.
Oh, it's already up? Okay, so yes. So his response said, "Hi, Michael. Thanks for reaching out about Enter the Gungeon, which is the game he was trying to get codes for. Excited to see our little game get coverage in your publication and our website. Below are 2 Steam keys for the game. Hope you think it's better than a 7.8. Thanks." And then you look at the codes, and it's a bunch of random letters and numbers, but if you look at it really close, it says, "Go fuck off. Nice try, asshole." So it was a very, it was a very funny response. Yeah, but obviously that's the gist of it. So kind of a funny thing, but also kind of a good look at how sometimes you can get people like that try to scam publishers out of free games.
We got a ton of like scam mails all the time. Like I'm not even going to name them all, but there are a few that are quite funny. Some people, some they say, "Oh, we want to sell your products. We get Nigerian princes or stuff like that as well." Like so much stuff.
Yeah, we get a ton of strange mail talking about all the products that we sell and how we have a great fashion blog. People, they very clearly
That's the,
don't even take a look at what we do.
the
Um,
best ones that are not exactly scams are, but are still like pretty annoying. Are the ones that want to buy an article on the site.
oh yeah,
Like they come out and say, "Oh, we want to. We have a client. We want position. We want to offer you this article for, and we're going to pay you for publishing." And of course, we don't even reply to them because by now it should be clear that we don't really do sponsored content.
right.
But it's mostly normally like shady stuff, like casinos, like online casinos and stuff like that. Online
Hmm.
gambling, and yeah, sure, of course we're going to put your article up. Yeah, I'm already running to get it.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, this guy isn't technically in the industry. He's a scammer pretending to be someone in the industry, but it's not that simple. In case you were ever that boneheaded to try and do this, it's not that simple to get a review copy of something. They do check with your email address. Maybe this has worked for him in the past with small indie devs. It doesn't sound like he was asking for Grand Theft Auto or he was asking for a major Sony release or something.
You know
But
what though?
what?
I can tell. I think it may actually be possible to do it more successfully with big publishers at times because they get so many requests. At times they are like in a hurry and they just churn them out as fast as they can, probably checking less. But probably I think indie developers are more likely to actually read through every email they receive,
Right.
and check. That's my impression. I'm not sure. I never tried, and I don't know anyone that's tried, so I can't really say. But at times, Lou, just Lou is our review editor. Okay, he's our new review editor, so he's the one that theoretically people are supposed to speak with for review copies. A lot of time, but I had since the new review editor, I actually sent a mail to a lot of like developers and publishers and stuff and whatnot, introducing Lou like a new reviews editor, so that they could after that interface with Lou.
Hmm.
And if you remember, a lot of the big ones kind of didn't read the mail, and they just sent us the code and continued talking with me instead, because they just had my address was the first on top,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So yeah, I think a lot of big publishers don't really check. I
Yeah.
may be wrong, especially if they are like third party like PR agencies.
Yeah, it's kind of 50-50. Some of them don't read it at all and just send you games. So I'm sure he's actually probably exploited some of them. Others, they have a relationship with. There are a few people. If I want to talk to a PR agency, like if I want to get in touch with Nintendo, for instance, I know that Golan Media is the one in charge of that. I have three people I know very well there, and I could call if if I need something, if I have a question about a game, if I can't get past this part and I just need a hint or something. Not that that has happened, but they there are relations that you build with these people, and it's not necessarily that easy in a lot of cases. So he
Oh, yeah.
was bound to be found out at some point.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm definitely not encouraging people to try. Huh? I'm just saying that I think indie developers are more likely to catch it, like Devolver Digital did, because probably they care more about reading all the mail you get.
Yeah.
Because for an indie developer is much like more harder and more advantageous to get their content reviewed on a site, especially a big site. You know, so they scan every mail hoping to get more reviews out for the games.
Yeah.
Well, Devolver is pretty big already, so probably pretty well known. But a lot of like super small indie developers, they like read every mail religiously. I know someone. I have a friend that works for an Italian indie company, and I know he spends like 3 hours a day just checking the mail, just reading
Yeah.
every single line out of it, because he really cares and he really wants to get every little chance again. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the longest conversations I've had with any person in the industry have generally been indie developers because they want to tell their story. They have more time, and they know that the more personable they are, the more you're likely to cover them, or at least acknowledge their product. Um,
So the morale is don't try to scam the indies because they are likely to catch you.
the indies are on top of their shit. All right,
or
so
anyone for that matter. But
yeah, don't do it at all.
Don't try to scam
regardless,
anyone, but don't think the indies are more vulnerable. That's what I meant.
All right, so let's go very quickly into some upcoming games this week. Upcoming this week, we have, and this is as updated of a list as I have. There may have been a game or two added lately, but nothing huge. On the 8th, we have Dex coming to PS4. We also have Hawken coming to PS4. It was already on Xbox One last week. On July 12th, we have Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme Verse Force coming to Vita. Also on the 12th, Ghostbusters, the new one, to PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Moon Hunters for PS4 and Xbox One. Song of the Deep, speaking of which, GameStop published, PC, PS4, Xbox One. And Seventh Dragon 3 Code VFD for Nintendo 3DS. On July 14th, my birthday, we have Infinium Strike for PC and PS4. And on the 15th, we have Muv-Luv coming to PC. Broken Bots to PS4, Monster Hunter Generations for Nintendo 3DS, and Obliteracers on PS4 and Xbox One. Any of those you guys think you're getting?
I think
No.
Muv-Luv has the best name out of all of those, so
Well,
probably
Mob
just
Love
by
is
that.
great, actually. Actually, Mob Love is, now I actually gonna get it sooner or later because I actually love the anime.
All right.
It's interesting. It's a visual novel, so it's very niche game, but
Yeah.
it's actually an interesting story. In I'm probably going to get it sooner or later. It's a nice versus girl story. So nice, pretty deep, and the anime was great. Like the last one they had one recent. One is Mov Love Alternative, and the other one has a very difficult to pronounce name. So I'm not. It's a Schwarzen Franken something like that.
Okay.
Solo, help me. You know anime.
No.
Anyway, it's Schwarzen something. But that's an anime that I definitely advise people to watch to look out for. It's very nice. So, Move Love is probably the only one between this bunch that I'm interested in.
Looking at the list, I'm probably going to give Monster Hunter Generations a shot. I always pick those games up and are never good at them and never continue playing after the first few hours. I understand they're great games. I just don't know how to play them yet. So if anyone wants to help me in the community after my bar exam, that I hold you to that. Also, Song of the Deep, I'm interested to try. A GameStop published game, Insomniac developed game, and a Metroidvania. So at least two of those I'm really interested in.
I think it's only like $15 too, so probably a
It's cheap.
good try. So
Yeah. I remember actually last time. Oh, Dallo has it. He got the name. Schmarken.
Martin Marken. Thank you, Dalo. I knew you knew it. I know I can count on him.
Our watchful protector.
Yeah, that's a good one. Watch it, Dalo. I can tell you it's a great one.
All right. So let's get to the social media plugs. If you want to find Dual Shockers, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram just by looking up Dual Shockers or /Dual Shockers. You can just find us easy. On YouTube, we're youtube.com/DSTV Originals. Meanwhile, if you want to come watch us on Twitch, we're here every Wednesday at 8:30, or at least they're going to be here every Wednesday at 8:30. At twitch.tv/DualShockers Live. Come and be part of the show and correct Giuseppe's clearly lacking knowledge of anime. I'm very disappointed.
It's knowledge of weird German-like anime names, which this is actually like 1 year old, so it's been a while. But yeah, there are some really weird names. I don't know. They're running out of imagination lately.
Right. Finally, you can find our round-the-clock news coverage, reviews, features, editorials, and all that good stuff over at DualShockers.com. Thank you, everyone, for watching. You can find me, if you're looking for me ever, at Twitter, at Luke Cataldi. You can find Ryan at, what's your address?
You can find me at Luke Cataldi. No, I'm kidding. It's Ryan Lightflare.
Are you two married already?
We're getting there, slowly.
Okay.
And you can find Giuseppe at... Oh my god, he's got it this week.
I actually wrote it because, even if it's actually already written down there. But yeah.
Right. All right. Well,
So
thank you.
you can follow me and read the silly things I say. Normally it's like hating on people or stuff like that.
Right. All right. So, yeah, that's everything. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for listening if you're listening on podcast. We'll see you guys next week. And let's go into the theme song.